said, his stream quality isn't good enough. So Emoji Shakuras, interesting map for Tofu to be choosing it for. He might be doing it for definitely a macro-oriented game.
I mean, it is better ramp positioning for him to be able to take that fast expand and not let those lings get in. Looks like we need to start the game. I don't know who the host is. Tofu is. Trooper said gets ready, so we're going to be starting this game shortly. You know, based on the last matchup, if Tofu could get out just, you know, a couple more Colossus and, you know, be able to contain another Roach Infestor army like Trooper did in the last game, this map would be the map to do it on.
I think it's definitely either Tofu chose this map to play a very macro-oriented game, or he chose it to make the Zerg think that and do maybe like a 4-gate. But I'm having a feeling he's just gonna play it safe. And the good luck, have fun.
I feel like when you are down one game, it's just not smart to cheese, and then most tournament players do understand that. But it could happen any moment.
Yeah, there's a chance, but I'm thinking it won't.
A cheesy win can, you know, help you get the momentum and some confidence.
We do have Tofu Raider, the green Protoss in the top left, and in the top right we have the pink Zerg Trooper. It'd be interesting to see how Trooper opens up this game. If he does the, it looked like he was doing Destiny's build for Infestors. Maybe not, because it seemed like he got pretty fast speed. Definitely faster than normal, than I'm used to seeing.
We did have a lot of Infestors, but I mean, he did have lots and lots of Roaches, but Destiny does normally take a little longer to get his natural going. So I don't really, it's more of his own style. I can't think of any very pro players that use this exact style, but.
And there is no spawning pool going down yet, so it looks like it's going to be a 15 hatch. 14 pool.
Tofu does have a probe moving around. Looks like he's going to try and stop a fast expand. You know, delay it as long as possible. May possibly put a pylon down there. We do have the gateway first.
Oh, 15 pool. So he did go for the pool first.
There's the pylon. That
Tofu does get that
worst
down.
nightmare is that pylon. That is very frustrating to deal with. Probably going to end up floating quite a few minerals before he ends up being able to get his hatch up.
Yeah, his hatch is definitely going to be a little late. And no gas yet, so
the pylon is cancelled for some reason.
There's no speedlings just yet. Or not, I mean, there's no, oh, okay, there's the extractor. And so I don't really know what Trooper's trying to do here. This is a weird build. Even his extractor seems a little late, and looks like he's gonna have to go for some speedlings and deal with this probe down here that might put a pylon down there. Looks like he's gonna have to go for some speedlings and deal with this probe down here that might put a doing a forge expand. He did put a second gateway down. Interesting choice by Tofu. That could actually come back to bottom the butt if he doesn't do forge fast expand, because it would be really easy for the Zerg to break through this wall if he doesn't. And I think when these lings come in here and see that, I think it's the same thing he'll think. There's a forge, okay. I was about to say, if he doesn't do that forge fast expand, then
I don't understand the reasoning behind getting the second gateway first, considering the fact that he hasn't until now began making another Zealot, and he's currently boosting it out of one gateway. I mean, now we got a second Zealot. I guess he wants to get a good number of Zealots out, just to probably help prevent any kind of Ling harass like happened last game, but we do have a drone sitting in the corner of Tofu's base. Tofu
does see the expansion go down, and that is going to be very helpful for Trooper. Trooper
is a very, very late expansion, so the Zerg is going to probably need to apply some pressure here or get a very early third to keep up economically with Tofu.
The Zerg is supply block. That is a little bit of a blunder there.
It is an average strategy for a Protoss when dealing with a Forge Fast Expand I mean, a Zerg when dealing with a Forge Fast Expand to just grab his third very early, as we're seeing right now.
Yes, this is a very early third. And
Watching earlier
surprisingly
on YouTube
enough,
today.
Tofu hasn't put down his cybernetics core. I feel like he's doing this build a little randomly because he's getting units out way too late. It just seemed like this is just the wrong build. And right now, if Trooper is going to be able to get away with this fast third because there's no units out for Tofu to deal with any of this, so we're going to probably see Trooper max out very, very, very quickly this game compared to last game. I mean, last game he already maxed pretty fast. He maxed out at like the 16-minute mark, right when Tofu got his third down. So it's going to be
Cybernetics core
interesting.
is halfway done. Speed is almost finished. We have Zerg player is droning very hard. You know, he feels fairly safe considering he has both the towers. See any pressure coming in. He's scouting out, noticing, you know, I only saw a couple zealots up here, some cannons. I mean, Tofu really doesn't have any units to put any pressure on, and that's what's going to allow this Zerg player to take this very, very
Trooper's
early
drone just came in and scouted out and seen the Twilight console. It looks like it's going to be the same build as last game. I'm not sure what Tofu's planning on doing. Maybe getting Blink again. Ooh, and he does cancel. Ooh, and he puts down a Stargate.
Now this could
definitely be the thing that Tofu needs to punish this expanding Zerg like this.
definitely, because he's not going to have, you know, a lot of defenses up, and he's only going to have probably one queen for each base because he's really trying to get out as many drones as possible because he just needs those minerals because he did put up that third.
This Zerg
You
is
have a Evo
droning
chamber
pretty
and a
hard.
roach, Warren, so he's not going Mutalisk, that's for sure. If we could pump out a couple voids, he could definitely do a lot of punishment to this Zerg player if he doesn't put down any sport collars or find a way to scout this out.
He does have his evolution chamber on the way, but
And
he
there we
has
go.
no idea that this is coming. And what is he getting? A Void Ray out first. This could be very deadly, and I'm surprised there's no stalkers on the field yet.
Well, the reason there's no stalkers is because he did early expand, he didn't have that many resources until they start kicking in, and then he is making Void Rays, which are really, really expensive, so... And also he had to make that Stargate, and he lost a couple resources when he canceled the Twilight Council. He's not mining this fourth gas here for some reason, even though he made it.
Trooper did put down some sport collars in his
The main
mineral
base
line.
is not quite fully saturated, and the natural isn't either.
Well, it looks like Trooper was concerned since he saw that Twilight console for DT, so he did put down sport colors in his mineral line. So these Void Rays actually might not be as good as he'd want them to be. And there's an Overlord about to just get a free scout at the base because
He still may possibly be able to pick off one or two scouts or run around. I mean, queens. Or run around
this
the map
Overlord's
and
gonna
kill
see
overlords.
the Stargate, and he does. And now it kind of takes the
The edge
surprise
away.
away.
We do have 53 drones to 39 probes because that early third that he took, he's going to have a massive economic advantage as in the last game. And if Tofu can't find a way to do any adequate harass with these Void Rays, he's going to be in a little bit of trouble here. We do have another
and
Spore
seeing
Crawler
and
and a
seeing the
Hydralisk
two,
Den.
and after seeing that Stargate, he did put that Hydralisk in down, and infestation pit is about to be finished. And the Zerg is making a lot of money right now. He's running off 3 bases. Surprisingly, the Harvesters are a little low for the Zerg for having 3 bases.
Well, he probably was a little bit scared. He's lost a couple Overlords to the Void Rays, so that could be blocking his drone count. We also had to get the Hydralisk Den going and make a couple extra queens.
And surprisingly enough, he's not getting his 2 gases in his third because he really doesn't need minerals right now. He needs more of that gas right now and save it up for the late game because that's going to become very important. And I'm surprised that he's not going to just throw down his 4th right now.
The Tofu is building his pylon, taking his third now, so... I mean... The Zerg does have a 15 Harvester lead, but that's not too much in terms of... Tofu looks like he's making a huge blunder, not mining gas from his 4th gas at his natural. You know... With the Stargate up, making carriers, I mean, he's really going to need that gas. Twilight Council going down.
Yeah, Tofu's gonna have to get some
Very,
Colossus out
very
too.
nice Overlord spread by the Zerg, getting full map scouting. Pretty nice creep spread. 9 Hydralisks on the way. No, that's units.
This is gonna be very interesting with the fleet beacon down and getting carriers. You don't see this very often, and this might throw the Zerg player off. But the problem is he's got Hydras, so the
Well,
carriers
if the
aren't gonna be as
carriers do get in
effective.
any adequate number, they will be able to shred the Hydras even though they have high DPS. They're just so low in health and so not cost efficient against carriers that they could do a good amount of damage, especially with no Spire to make mutas or corruptors at all. And he's going to be, I mean, the Hydras would do very well against Void Rays, but I don't think they'll do very well against carriers, considering they're very, very fragile units.
I just feel like either player has really got a huge army. They're just kind of staying back in their bases and stuff, and it looks like I'd have to say Trooper's army is a little bit more scarier than Tofu's is. And we're having some lag right now.
Jwoo, that's bad. Stop lagging. You stop that now.
And Jwoo does leave.
Oh, it looks like Jwoo can just come and watch on the stream now.
And the Zerg is getting his 4th base. Yeah, he's gonna max out very fast. I feel like the Zerg's macro did slip up for having 3 bases that early on. I feel like he could have maxed a little bit sooner, but it's still not a big deal. And right now, it looks like the Zerg is wanting to push out and do a little bit of a poke. This could be really dangerous timing right now because Tofu's army is very slow, and it only has 1 carrier. One carrier isn't going to do that much.
That is true. 2 Archons could help sway the battle a little bit. They do have extra bio damage.
Now,
here's a pivotal moment in the game.
If these Hydras are getting caught in the back like this could be really bad. If these Hydras die, the air can do a lot.
Nothing to defend themselves. Yeah. The Hydras are dying very quickly. We have the carrier, the 2 Void Rays, and the Archon. The 3rd did go down, which is probably what the Zerg wanted to do, because he does have 15 more Roaches on the way. I don't know why he wouldn't make any more Hydras, considering that there's 2 Void Rays and a carrier still on the field. And these Archons can just shred these bio units, rip them up, and now Tofu's probably going to go want to do some pressure because he just lost his 3rd and he needs to
Tofu's going to definitely have to do some pressure because
he can't just sit back in his base.
The Zerg really doesn't have very much to deal with the Protoss army right now. And every second Tofu stays off of 3rd base and lets the Zerg get on all his 3 bases, this is going to be really bad for Tofu. I think right now if he pushes out, he could... I don't know if it's really a smart idea, but he needs to snipe a 3rd or something.
He could do some damage, because there are only Roaches and there's 2 Void Rays and a carrier out. But the Infestors could fungal and destroy the Void Rays, but Tofu looks a little indecisive right now.
Yeah, this isn't... Oh, and he's going to be bringing Queens in the battle. This could be actually really huge, bringing these Queens in the battle. And this would not be the ideal situation for Tofu to engage, and Tofu is backing up a little bit. It does look like Trooper does want to engage, is bringing his Queens along, and backs up a little bit. Wants to stay on the creep, because Queens aren't very good off creep. Not going to do very much. He needs to start getting some Storm for these Templar. If he could get Storms, get some pretty nice Storms, or maybe even some feedbacks to deal with the Infestors, then Tofu might be in a good spot. But right now, it's just the Zerg's macro is out of control.
They'll fall instantly to the carriers and the Archons, and it's just not a very good unit choice, I don't think. We do have a Spire down. We're not... Go to production.
Tofu does have his 3rd base up right now. It's getting walled off by a bunch of cannons.
So it doesn't look like we're making any air units yet from the Zerg player.
Surprisingly enough, Lair is still there. Usually about this time, usually 17 to 20 minutes, especially about how fast he expanded, you would see the Hive go down.
In the last game, we did see that... we do have Storm finish on these High Templars, Carrier, 2 Void Rays, 2 Archons. I mean, this army composition is fairly good against this Zerg army, so this is all going to come down to control.
Yeah, this is going to be a really big engagement right here. And that getting very clumped. If these Storms land, oh my gosh. This is going to do a massive amount of damage. The only thing that's missing, though, is some Colossus. If he had some Colossus, this engagement could have been a lot better, but man, those Hydras were just doing way too much damage, and they